Ethan Harper had never expected a quiet life. He had grown up fascinated by stars, spending long nights peering through telescopes, imagining distant worlds full of strange creatures and advanced civilizations. Now, floating in the black vastness of space aboard the starship Aurora, he was living that dream. Only this time, the dream felt far more dangerous than he had imagined. The Aurora was a research vessel, designed to explore uncharted systems and gather data on new planets. Ethan had been brought on as an engineer because of his reputation for solving impossible technical problems. His job was simple in theory: keep the ship running, fix the failing components, and sometimes invent solutions for problems nobody had yet encountered. Simple. Except that nothing in the galaxy ever stayed simple for long. It had started like any other mission. The crew had detected a strange signal from a nearby system, weak, irregular, and unlike any known transmissions. Captain Rena, a composed woman with sharp eyes and a mind like a steel trap, decided to investigate. "We don't know what it is, but it's worth a look," she said. "Ethan, I want you on standby. You'll need to be ready for anything." Ethan had nodded, his stomach tightening. He loved space exploration, but it had a way of testing a person, both physically and mentally. As the Aurora approached the source, the signal grew stronger, but what they found was not what anyone expected. A massive ship floated in orbit around a dead planet. Its design was unlike any known technology. It was sleek, but organic, as if the vessel had grown rather than been built. Light patterns pulsed across its surface, almost like a heartbeat. "Is that alive?" Ethan muttered, staring at the ship through the viewport. "It's certainly not dead," Captain Rena said, her voice calm but tense. "Prepare an exploration team. Ethan, you're coming." The docking sequence was delicate. The alien ship seemed to respond to their approach, opening what looked like a massive hatch slowly, as if inviting or warning them inside. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest. The Aurora's airlock connected to the alien ship, and the team stepped through, their boots echoing on the smooth, metallic floor. The interior was unlike anything Ethan had ever seen. The walls glowed softly, pulsing with light in colors that shifted from green to blue to violet. The corridors twisted in ways that seemed impossible, bending gravity in subtle ways that made walking a challenge. And then they heard it, a soft, melodic hum, almost like a song. "Do you hear that?" whispered Mara, the ship's biologist. Her eyes widened as she scanned the area with a handheld sensor. "It's alive. This ship is a living organism." Ethan's mind raced. He had read about theoretical bioships, but he had never imagined encountering one. As they moved deeper into the vessel, they found signs of habitation. Small pods lined the walls, each containing biological material, strange seeds, and what appeared to be alien embryos. Ethan's stomach twisted. Something here was fragile. Something was in danger. Then they saw her. A figure emerged from the shadows. Small, delicate, and distinctly humanoid, but undeniably alien. Her skin shimmered faintly in the dim light, and her eyes were large, golden, and filled with a mixture of fear and hope. She was clearly young, though mature for her species. The team froze. She spoke, but her words were strange, a series of melodic tones. Mara stepped forward, holding up a translator device. The machine whirred, trying to decode her language. After a few tense moments, it worked. "My name is Lyra," she said, her voice soft but urgent. "I am the last of my kind." Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. "Last of her kind?" he repeated, almost in disbelief. Lyra nodded. "Our species is dying. Our ability to reproduce has failed. Without help, we will vanish from the universe." Her eyes locked onto Ethan, and she added, "You are the only human here. You are the key." The words hit Ethan like a physical blow. He had faced dangerous technical failures, broken engines, and collapsing space stations. But nothing had ever prepared him for this. He was just a human one among billions. But somehow, Lyra believed he could save an entire species. Captain Rena stepped forward, her voice firm. "Ethan, we need a plan. We can't ignore this." Lyra gestured toward a chamber ahead. "Inside, you will see the seeds of my people. But time is short. The life support systems are failing. The embryos will die if the energy doesn't stabilize." Ethan swallowed hard. He moved forward cautiously, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing on his shoulders. The chamber was vast, filled with shimmering pods, each one glowing faintly. Some were empty. Some contained tiny, delicate forms, and a few showed signs of failing life. Mara examined the pods. "These are like biological stasis chambers," she murmured. "They're trying to preserve genetic material. But something is going wrong with the energy balance, if we don't fix it soon." She didn't need to finish the sentence. Ethan understood. He knelt beside a failing pod, examining its interface. The controls were unlike anything human-made. Pulses of light ran across the surface in patterns that seemed alive, almost sentient. Ethan touched the control panel, feeling a subtle vibration under his fingers. It reacted to his touch, changing colors, adapting. "I think it's alive," he said. "The ship itself is trying to keep these embryos safe. But it's damaged, and it doesn't understand humans fully. I'll need to work with it carefully." Lyra stepped closer. "You can help us. You must help us. Otherwise, my people will end." Her voice trembled, but there was no anger. Only desperate hope. Ethan felt a surge of determination. He had trained for moments like this, though never imagined a scenario this critical. He began analyzing the pods, trying to understand the alien technology. Hours passed like minutes, the team working together under the soft glow of the ship's organic lights. He discovered that the ship's power core was unstable. The life support for the embryos depended on a delicate balance between the core's energy pulses and the ambient biosignals of the pods. If one pulse faltered, an entire pod could fail. Ethan devised a plan. Using a combination of human engineering and alien tech, he could stabilize the system. But it would require him to interface directly with the ship, a risky procedure. Captain Rena frowned. "You'd be putting yourself in danger." Ethan looked at Lyra, her golden eyes full of trust. He felt a surge of courage he hadn't known he possessed. "If this is the only way, I'll do it," he said. The ship seemed to respond to his resolve. Lights pulsed brighter, and the hum grew louder, almost as if acknowledging his presence. Ethan approached the core chamber, feeling the subtle shift in gravity and energy around him. He reached out and placed his hands on the console. Instantly, information flooded his mind patterns. Energy flows, the heartbeat of the ship itself. It was overwhelming, but he focused, applying human logic to the alien system. He rerouted power, adjusted energy pulses, and stabilized the failing pods. Slowly, life returned to the embryos. One by one, the faint glows strengthened, and the air seemed to hum with vitality. Lyra's eyes shone with relief. "You did it," she whispered. "You saved them." Ethan felt a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. He had faced an impossible challenge and succeeded. For the first time, he realized that humanity had something unique to offer the galaxy. Ingenuity, courage, and the ability to face the unknown without fear. Captain Rena placed a hand on his shoulder. "You've done more than I ever expected, Ethan. Humanity may be small compared to the stars, but we are capable of greatness." Ethan nodded, glancing around the chamber at the glowing pods and at Lyra. This was just the beginning. The alien ship still held mysteries. Threats from unknown factions loomed, and the future of Lyra's species was still uncertain. But for now, a spark of hope had been lit. A hope that one human could make a difference among the stars. As the Aurora prepared to leave the derelict ship, Ethan took a deep breath. The universe was vast, unpredictable, and dangerous, but it was also filled with opportunity. And for the first time, he understood that humanity could rise to meet even the greatest challenges. The stars stretched endlessly before him, and Ethan Harper felt ready for whatever came next. The Aurora floated silently near the derelict alien ship, its engines humming faintly. Ethan Harper couldn't shake the image of the glowing pods and the fragile life they contained. Lyra, the young alien who now trusted him completely, hovered nearby, her golden eyes scanning every panel of the alien vessel, as if she could sense its moods. "We can't stay here too long," Captain Rena said, breaking the silence. Her voice was calm, but carried an edge of urgency. "Other ships will detect the signal soon. We don't know who or what is out there." Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing on him like never before. He had saved the first wave of embryos, but the system was delicate. A single miscalculation could undo all their progress. Lyra floated closer to him. "The ship. It reacts to emotion, to determination. Your species is different. You can think in ways the ship cannot. That is why I trust you, human." Ethan swallowed hard. He had never considered himself special. He was just an engineer, someone who fixed machines. Yet, here he was, responsible for the survival of an entire species. The thought was overwhelming, but he pushed it aside. He had work to do. He moved into the chamber again, his hands brushing against the glowing pods. The hum of the ship was stronger now, more insistent, almost like a heartbeat racing with urgency. Ethan focused on the task ahead, stabilizing the remaining pods and preparing the ship for any external threats. Mara, the biologist, examined a panel near the pods. "These pods are reacting to the ship's energy. If we can stabilize the flow, we can protect the embryos longer. But it's tricky, very tricky. Any wrong adjustment could cause a chain reaction." Ethan nodded, studying the energy readings. The alien technology was unlike anything humans had ever designed. It was alive, responsive, and unpredictable. He had to combine his engineering skills with intuition. With a deep breath, he began adjusting the energy flow, rerouting power through secondary circuits, and fine-tuning the biosignals. As he worked, Lyra hovered close, offering subtle guidance. "The ship recognizes intention," she said softly. "Do not hesitate. Trust yourself." Ethan took a deep breath and focused. Slowly, carefully, he began to feel the pulse of the ship. It was like reading a rhythm, a pattern hidden in the hum of energy. Adjusting one control here, rerouting a pulse there, he began to stabilize the failing pods. Some glowed brighter immediately, while others required delicate attention. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. Ethan worked tirelessly, guided by instinct and human problem-solving skills. Then came the warning. A red light flashed on the Aurora's monitoring console. Captain Rena's face appeared on the screen, her expression tense. "Ethan, we have company. Multiple ships are approaching. Unknown origin. They're intercepting our signals." Ethan froze for a moment. He had anticipated challenges from the alien ship itself. But now there were external threats. Other species interested in Lyra's genetic material. Mara's voice trembled slightly. "If they board, they could take the embryos or destroy them. We need a defense plan." Ethan's mind raced. They were outnumbered, and the Aurora's weapons were limited. But humans had something that no alien could predict: cleverness. He quickly formulated a plan. Using the ship's energy fields and the alien vessel's responsiveness, he could create a protective barrier, a kind of adaptive shield that would confuse any intruder. "Captain," he said into the comms, "I can rig a defensive system using the alien ship's energy network. It won't harm anyone, but it will make boarding extremely difficult. I need time. Help me stabilize the ship while I do it." Captain Rena nodded sharply. "Do it, Ethan. We're counting on you." Working with Mara and Lyra, Ethan tapped into the alien systems, rerouting energy to create a fluctuating shield around the critical areas. The ship seemed to pulse with his efforts, almost like it was aware of the danger and responding to his commands. Slowly, a shimmering barrier formed, moving unpredictably and distorting the space around the pods. As the first of the unknown ships drew near, Ethan held his breath. The invaders scanned the area, their ships hovering in formation. They were advanced and dangerous, but the shield confused their sensors. Their beams glanced off harmlessly, unable to lock onto the alien vessel. "They can't see what's inside," Lyra whispered. Relief shone on her face. "You've protected us. Truly protected us." Ethan allowed himself a brief smile, but there was no time to relax. The alien reproductive system still needed attention. The ship's energy core had been pushed to its limits, and if it faltered, the pods could fail again. He returned to the control panel, fine-tuning the energy pulses and stabilizing the biosignals. Hours turned into a tense night, the team working in near silence, broken only by the occasional warning beep from the approaching ships. Ethan felt a bond forming with Lyra. She was not just an alien in need. She was a partner, teaching him to see the ship in ways he never could on his own. "You understand the pattern," she said quietly. "You think differently than we do. That is why the ship responds to you." Ethan looked at her, considering her words. He realized that human thinking, creative, improvisational, fearless in the face of the unknown, was the key. Humans were small in the universe, but their minds could solve problems that even the most advanced species could not anticipate. Suddenly, the shield flickered. One of the approaching ships had fired a probe, a small craft designed to pierce defenses. Ethan's heart pounded. He acted instinctively, rerouting energy to reinforce the barrier just in time. The probe bounced harmlessly off, spiraling away into space. Lyra's eyes widened. You saved the pods again. You are remarkable, human." Ethan smiled, though he was exhausted. "We're doing this together. The ship, you, me, we're a team." But there was no time to celebrate. Another alert flashed on the monitor. Life signs in one of the pods were weakening. One of the embryos was showing signs of energy depletion. Ethan rushed to the chamber, analyzing the readings. The pod required a complex adjustment that combined human technology with alien biology, something no one had attempted before. He took a deep breath and began the procedure. Guided by instinct and the subtle cues from Lyra, he made the adjustments. Lights pulsed brighter, the energy flow stabilized, and the pod's life signs returned to normal. Ethan exhaled, wiping sweat from his brow. Lyra floated closer, her golden eyes shining. "You are the hope of my species. Without you, we would not survive." Ethan felt a deep sense of pride. He had faced the impossible, protected fragile life, and kept hostile forces at bay, all with his mind, courage, and determination. He realized that humanity's true strength was not in weapons or size, but in creativity, perseverance, and the ability to adapt to challenges that no one else could solve. Captain Rena's voice came over the comms again, softer now, full of admiration. "Ethan, you've done the impossible. You've saved them for now. But this is far from over. We need to move quickly before more of these ships arrive." Ethan nodded. He knew she was right. The alien vessel was still a mystery, its systems unpredictable, and the unknown factions were still out there, circling like predators. But he also knew something else. Humanity could rise to meet these challenges. Humans were small, yes, but clever, resourceful, and unyielding. He looked at Lyra, who floated beside him, hope shining in her eyes. "We can do this," he said firmly. "Together, we'll protect your species and keep this ship alive. Nothing can stop us if we work as one." The alien ship pulsed in response, its lights brightening, as if acknowledging his words. The shield shimmered, deflecting the distant signals of hostile ships. For the first time since they had arrived, Ethan felt a spark of optimism. They were not just surviving, they were fighting back. And as the Aurora and the alien ship prepared to move to a safer system, Ethan Harper realized something profound. In the vast, dangerous expanse of the universe, humanity had a role to play. Humans could be the unexpected heroes, the clever minds that could preserve life, solve impossible problems, and inspire hope across the stars. The universe was vast, unpredictable, and full of threats. But it was also full of opportunity. And Ethan, with his human ingenuity and courage, was ready to face whatever came next. The alien ship floated silently, a glowing beacon in the void. Ethan Harper had spent the past few days working tirelessly, stabilizing the pods, rerouting energy, and protecting Lyra's fragile species from both natural decay and hostile forces. Yet, he knew their biggest challenge was still ahead. The ship itself had secrets deep, ancient systems that even Lyra had never fully understood. Lyra floated beside him as they navigated the twisting corridors. "The ship has more layers," she said softly. "It was built to protect my species, yes, but also to test those who would save us. Only a mind capable of thinking differently can unlock its deepest functions." Ethan nodded. He had already learned that humans approached problems in unexpected ways. Where other species relied solely on instinct or ritual, humans combined creativity with logic. Perhaps that was why the ship responded to him. Their first task was to access the ship's primary reproductive matrix. This was the core chamber where new life could be generated, a sophisticated biosynthetic system that required both alien biological input and human ingenuity to function. The chamber was massive, its walls pulsing with lifelike energy. Pods lined the edges, each containing vital genetic material, while streams of glowing liquid circulated in intricate patterns. "This is incredible," Ethan murmured. "It's like the ship is alive, breathing, and thinking." Lyra nodded. "It is alive, but it has been dormant for centuries. We must awaken it fully, or it will fail to create new life." Ethan stepped forward, studying the complex interface. He realized immediately that the ship's systems did not respond to brute force or standard commands. They responded to intuition, creativity, and problem-solving. Human logic was unusual here, unpredictable, yet capable of producing results the ship could not anticipate. He began connecting his engineering tools to the matrix, carefully adjusting energy flows, calibrating biosignals, and improvising stabilizers. Lyra guided him, translating subtle shifts in the ship's pulse into actionable steps. The chamber's lights pulsed faster as he worked, almost like it recognized his efforts and was responding to his determination. Hours passed. Ethan's hands ached, and exhaustion pressed on him. But he refused to stop. Each adjustment he made stabilized more of the system. Some pods glowed brighter, while others still struggled. Then came the first test. A panel on the wall displayed the life signs of a newly forming embryo. The energy levels were unstable. Ethan realized that the process required a human element, something the ship itself could not provide. He took a deep breath and did the unthinkable. He manually synchronized the alien energy matrix with a human neural interface he had designed on the spot. The interface allowed the ship to respond to human thought patterns directly. Lyra's eyes widened. "You are connecting your mind to the ship?" she asked. Ethan nodded. "It's the only way to stabilize the final pods. I have to think like the ship and like a human at the same time." The moment he engaged the interface, the ship seemed to hum louder, vibrating with energy. Ethan felt a surge of information flood his mind, streams of energy, patterns of life, and the faint echoes of Lyra's species' genetic code. It was overwhelming, but he focused, applying human problem-solving to align the alien processes. Slowly, the first new embryo stabilized. Its glow strengthened, filling the chamber with light. Lyra floated closer, her golden eyes shining with awe. You've done it." "The first life is formed." Ethan allowed himself a brief smile, though he felt the exhaustion settling deep in his bones. One embryo was not enough. There were many more to save, and the system was still delicate. He continued, adjusting each pod carefully, using a combination of alien energy and human intuition. One by one, the embryos stabilized, and the ship responded positively, almost as if it had accepted him as a trusted partner. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the chamber. Ethan looked up at the monitors. The hostile ships from before had returned, this time in greater numbers, and they were attempting to bypass the shield. Lyra's voice trembled. They are coming for us. They want the embryos. Ethan didn't hesitate. He realized that brute force wouldn't win this fight. They were outnumbered. Instead, he devised a clever plan. Using the ship's energy matrix, he created decoy pulses that mimicked the location of the embryos. He rerouted energy through corridors to generate false signals, confusing the enemy sensors. "Captain Rena," Ethan said into the comms. "Prepare to fire only if they breach the outer defenses. The ship's energy can mislead them. But we need precise timing." Captain Rena's voice was steady. "Understood. You've got this, Ethan." The enemy ships advanced, their weapons scanning for life signs. They fired once, twice, but the energy decoys made them miss repeatedly. The alien vessels seemed to anticipate their moves, shifting and pulsing unpredictably. Ethan grinned. Humans had always been underestimated, and right now, that unpredictability was their greatest weapon. As the battle outside raged, Ethan returned to the reproductive matrix. Several pods were showing instability, requiring immediate attention. He applied his human ingenuity again, improvising new stabilizers and creating a feedback loop that harmonized the alien energy with his own interface. One by one, the remaining embryos began to glow steadily, their life signs strong. Lyra floated near him, awe and relief in her expression. "You have done what no one else could. You are the hope of my people." Ethan shook his head, smiling. "We did it together. The ship, you, me, we're a team." But the battle was not over. One of the hostile ships managed to penetrate the outer defense field. Ethan acted quickly, using the alien ship's corridors to his advantage. He manipulated energy flows to create traps, pulses that redirected intruders into dead ends, corridors that seemed endless, and barriers that confused their sensors. The invaders, advanced as they were, could not adapt quickly enough. They became trapped in the ship's living maze, unable to reach the reproductive matrix. Ethan's combination of human logic and the ship's responsiveness had turned the tide. Lyra floated beside him, a hint of a smile on her face. "You are extraordinary. Human. You think in ways we cannot. That is why the ship responds to you." Ethan felt a swell of pride, but he didn't allow himself to relax. The final pod still required one last adjustment. It was the most delicate of all, containing the key genetic material necessary for the survival of Lyra's species. He approached it carefully, aligning energy pulses and recalibrating biosignals. The ship pulsed in response, almost like it was holding its breath. With precise timing, Ethan synchronized the human neural interface with the alien matrix. Lights pulsed, energy flowed, and the final embryo stabilized. A soft glow filled the chamber, and for the first time, the entire reproductive system was functioning perfectly. Lyra's species had been given a second chance. Lyra's eyes shimmered with tears of gratitude. You have saved my people. Humanity. Your species. You are remarkable." Ethan smiled, though exhaustion weighed heavily on him. "We all did it. This is only possible because we work together." Captain Rena's voice came over the comms, filled with pride. "Ethan, you've done the impossible. The ship is stable, the embryos are safe, and your ingenuity has protected Lyra's species. Humanity truly shines today." Ethan nodded, looking around the glowing chamber at the stabilized embryos. He felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Humans were small in the galaxy, often overlooked, but their creativity, courage, and determination could achieve the impossible. He had proven it, not through brute force or advanced technology, but through thinking differently, adapting, and never giving up. The hostile ships retreated, unable to penetrate the adaptive defenses Ethan had created. The alien vessel pulsed gently, as if expressing relief, trust, and gratitude. Lyra floated beside him, her golden eyes bright. "The future is bright, thanks to you, human." Ethan realized that this was more than just saving a species. It was a lesson in humanity's true potential. Humans were not the strongest or the largest, but their minds, creativity, and resilience allowed them to overcome challenges that others could not. And as the alien ship hummed around them, fully stabilized, Ethan Harper knew that humanity's story among the stars was only beginning. The universe was vast, dangerous, and unpredictable, but it was also full of opportunities for those willing to think, adapt, and act. And right now, one human had shown that even in the darkest corners of space, ingenuity and courage could create life, protect it, and inspire hope. The alien ship floated in silence, its glowing hull reflecting the distant stars. The immediate danger had passed. The hostile ships had retreated, unable to overcome the clever defenses Ethan had devised. Lyra's species, once on the brink of extinction, now had a chance to survive. But Ethan knew that saving them was only the first step. The universe was vast, unpredictable, and full of challenges, some of which had yet to reveal themselves. Ethan Harper stood in the central chamber, gazing at the stabilized embryos. The soft glow of the pods filled the room with a sense of calm. But he knew calm was temporary. "They're safe," he said quietly. "For now, but there's still so much to do." Lyra floated beside him, her golden eyes reflecting the light. "You have done more than I could have imagined. You have saved my people, human. But the ship holds more secrets. There are lessons yet to learn, and dangers we cannot see." Ethan nodded. He had felt the ship's pulse, sensed its intelligence. It was alive in a way that went beyond technology or biology. Every part of it had a purpose, and its deepest functions were still hidden. "Then we'll learn together," he said. "We'll figure out the rest." Captain Rena's voice came over the comms, calm but firm. "Ethan, we need to decide our next move. The alien vessel is stable, yes, but it won't remain safe forever if we linger. We need to find a secure system where Lyra's people can grow and thrive." Ethan thought carefully. The ship itself seemed to respond to him, almost like it approved of his plans. "There's a nearby star system," he said. "It's uninhabited, rich in energy, and has planets that could support life. If we move there, the ship can remain hidden, and Lyra's species can begin to grow safely." Lyra's eyes brightened. "A sanctuary. That is what we need. Thank you, human." The journey to the new system was tense. Although the hostile ships had retreated, there was no guarantee they wouldn't return. Ethan worked alongside the alien vessel's systems, navigating through asteroid fields, dodging gravitational anomalies, and carefully managing the energy flows needed to keep the embryos safe. During the trip, Ethan observed the ship's unique systems. He marveled at how it combined living organisms with technology, creating something that was both machine and creature. The more he interacted with it, the more he realized that humans were uniquely suited to work with such systems. Their creativity, flexibility, and willingness to think differently allowed them to solve problems that even the most advanced species could not. Lyra watched him quietly. "You understand the ship in ways we cannot. You think like it, and yet you are not it. That is why it trusts you." Ethan smiled, though he was tired. "Humans have always adapted to survive," he said. "We learn quickly, improvise, and face the unknown without giving up. I guess the ship recognizes that." The journey was not without challenges. As they approached the new system, Ethan detected faint energy signatures, nearby small, unmanned drones scanning the area. They were harmless for now, but they could alert other species to the presence of the alien vessel. "We need a plan," Captain Rena said. "If they detect us, it could lead to a larger threat." Ethan thought quickly. Using the ship's energy matrix, he created a series of decoy signals, masking their approach. He also programmed minor shifts in the ship's pulse, making it appear as though it were moving in a different direction. The drones scanned, detected false signals, and moved on. The alien vessel remained hidden. Lyra looked at Ethan with awe. "Your ingenuity is beyond anything our species has seen. You have saved us from extinction, and now from detection. You are truly remarkable, human. Ethan chuckled softly. I'm just doing what humans do best. Thinking, adapting, and never giving up. Finally, the alien ship entered the target system. A quiet, stable planet orbited a medium-sized star. Its surface was rich in minerals, with vast oceans and a breathable atmosphere. Ethan scanned the planet carefully, ensuring it was safe for Lyra's species to begin thriving. This will be perfect, he said. The ship can remain in orbit, hidden from scanners, and the species can start to grow here. Lyra's eyes shone with gratitude. A new beginning. Thanks to you, human. My people will live again. The alien vessel began to settle in orbit, its energy systems adjusting to the planet's magnetic field. Ethan worked tirelessly to ensure stability, synchronizing the ship's biosignals with the planet's natural energy flows. The embryos glowed brighter, stronger than ever. Life, once on the brink of extinction, now had a chance to flourish. As the team worked, Ethan reflected on what had happened. He had been an ordinary human, an engineer among many, yet he had faced challenges that no one else could. He had saved an entire species, protected them from unknown threats, and unlocked the deepest functions of a living alien vessel. Humanity, small and often underestimated, had made a lasting mark on the galaxy. Lyra floated beside him, her expression thoughtful. You have proven something important, human. Your species is not just another in the galaxy. You are problem solvers, protectors, and innovators. You have shown courage and wisdom that even we could not anticipate. Ethan felt a surge of pride. Humans may not be the strongest or the fastest, but we never stop learning, never stop trying, and never give up. That's our strength. Captain Rena's voice came over the comms, calm and approving. Ethan, Lyra, the system is stable. The embryos are secure. Your teamwork has ensured the survival of an entire species. Humanity has once again proven its value in the universe. Ethan smiled. For the first time since the mission began, he allowed himself to relax. The immediate danger was gone. The future was uncertain, yes, but now there was hope, a chance for life to grow, and for humans and aliens to work together for a greater purpose. Lyra looked out at the planet below, her golden eyes reflecting the oceans and mountains. A new chapter begins, she said softly. We will grow, thrive, and explore the stars. And humans will be part of that story, as partners and friends. Ethan felt a sense of fulfillment, unlike anything he had ever known. He had started as just an engineer, a human among many, but now he was a hero in the truest sense, not through violence, not through dominance, but through ingenuity, courage, and compassion. As the alien ship settled into orbit, Ethan and the crew of the Aurora prepared to leave, their mission complete. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and mysteries, but humanity had proven its worth. Small, clever, and determined, humans could face challenges that no one else could. They could save lives, protect the vulnerable, and rise to greatness when needed most. Lyra floated beside Ethan one last time before he returned to the Aurora. Thank you, human. You have given my people a future. We will never forget your courage. Ethan smiled. We'll meet again, I'm sure. Humanity has a lot to offer, and this is only the beginning. The stars stretched endlessly before them, sparkling with possibilities. Ethan Harper knew that the galaxy was a place of adventure, danger, and discovery. And he also knew that humans, small, underestimated, but clever and courageous, had a place among the stars. As the Aurora departed, leaving the alien ship to its orbiting sanctuary, Ethan reflected on everything that had happened. He had seen the fragility of life, the power of ingenuity, and the strength of hope. Humanity could survive, thrive, and shine even in the darkest corners of the universe. Lyra's species had a new beginning, and so did humanity's story in the stars. One human, one spark of creativity, had made a difference. And in the vast, infinite expanse of the galaxy, that spark could grow into something extraordinary. Ethan Harper looked out at the stars, a smile on his face, and whispered to himself, "This is just the beginning." And with that, the Aurora jumped into faster-than-light travel, carrying humanity's courage, ingenuity, and hope into the uncharted reaches of the universe.